So I believe it's also the biggest game changer that we can honestly, as individuals, bring to the planet right now, in all its craziness and all the political and ecological and societal turmoil. If we can each find our own happiness vibe, then that is no insignificant feat, because it's so infectious. Am I right? Happiness is infectious. Just as in negativity and fear and doubt and all of the crappy stuff that we're used to feeling, and that actually, quite honestly, we're really open to feeling. We're open to all of those negative emotions, and we're open to spreading those every single day, but we're not open to the higher emotions of happiness, of joy, and of spreading those on a really consistent basis. And if you're triggered right now, I want you to look at why that is. Straight off the bat, just be honest with yourself, because this is the most important work that you can do for yourself, for your family, and for everybody around you. Now look, I am not going to preach at you and say you've got to be happy, joy all day long, 24/7. That is just not gonna happen. I am testament to that. I've had a bit of a low day today, I'll be really honest. And you know what? That's okay. I don't believe that in order to be happy, we have to ignore any other emotion. And I'm not really sure where that perception has come from. It's very prevalent in our society. And I think it's also one of the biggest reasons that we poo-poo this idea of being happy and of following our happiness. Anyway, I would love to hear some of your thoughts right now on this subject, of the things that you struggle with in feeling that emotion of happiness on a day-to-day basis, in your life in general. What stops that happening for you specifically? So we're going to look at this in more detail for this energy shift month, this live, and it's going to be super simple for you. It is going to be triggering, obviously. How else are you going to shift your energies, right? But yeah, I saw a film the other night called Hector and the Search for Happiness. I don't know if you've seen it. Send me an emoji below if you've seen it. It's got Simon Pegg in it, who I'm really not that keen on, but he was brilliant in it actually. He plays a psychiatrist, a really kind of disillusioned psychiatrist who realizes he's not happy, and more to the point, he's not making his patients any happier. So his psychiatric patients are coming in day after day, week after week, month after month, and they're just not getting any better. And so he starts to kind of look into why that is, what's going on. And he takes off around the world searching for the meaning of happiness. Okay, so this kind of age-old concept, what the heck is happiness and how do we find it? And he interviews people, everybody from a Buddhist monk, you know, kind of up in the mountains, to a drugs baron, to like, you know, an African mother of 5 or whatever. It's amazing, all of the different kind of responses he gets, and all of his different experiences, obviously, that he encounters along the way. And it was so affirming to me that we, you know, this question of why do we elude happiness? Because I honestly don't believe happiness eludes us. I think we push it away. And I think this also comes back to what we looked at last month on the idea of narrowing our emotional bandwidth. And in fact, Hector looks at this in the film. Towards the end of the film, he has I forget what it's called, the brain scan, where he has all of the, the kind of wires in his head. And he is told to experience 3 different emotions. And for all of those emotions, he just can't quite commit to them. He can't quite fully light up those areas of his brain until he just lets go. And he finally opens up and his whole brain just starts glowing, because he's not just feeling one emotion at a time. He's feeling everything all at once so intensely. And I don't think we go there. I think this is exactly what he was portraying in the film, is that we're so scared of our emotions that we just don't, we kind of cut them down, we numb them out, we get to a certain level and then we just go, no, I can't go any further. And there's so many reasons for that, historically, socially, in our own individual histories, obviously. And that's part of what I want us to look at today. So believe me when I say happiness is not a trite subject by any means. Happiness and how we allow it into our lives can be very, very heavy, in fact. So I want you to know that. I want you to acknowledge that right now for yourselves. And just look at that. Just think, maybe that's why I'm not happy. Maybe that's why I'm not allowing myself to do the things, to be the things that would actually make me happy. And I also want you to ask yourself the question, before we look at this a little bit more in depth, what could be more important than being and spreading happiness, truly? Not empty, fake, Pollyanna-ish happiness that relies on external things or numbing out those negative emotions and those, our entire range of emotional bandwidth. But real, fulfilled, joyful, whole being happiness. What could be more important than that, seriously? If we radiated that on an individual, a familial, a community, and a global level, what do you think might happen to our society? And why do we convince ourselves that happiness is therefore a luxury? Something we can only have when we're thinner, or we've got that perfect partner, or that beautiful house by the sea, or, we're on a more even keel with our finances, even. Why is it we say, I'll be happy when?